Monday, April 4, the contrast in the wilderness. Matthew chapter 4 and verse 1 reads, Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. Imagine this scene from the perspective of Satan himself. The divine, exalted being, whom he knew as the Son of God, had now lowered himself, had taken on human flesh in order to save the human race. This was the same Jesus whom he warred against in heaven, and who threw him and his angels out, as we read in Revelation chapter 12, verses 7 to 9. But now this Jesus was what? An emaciated human being alone in a harsh wilderness with no obvious support? Certainly, Jesus would now be an easy target for Satan's deceptions. As Ellen White writes in The Desire of Ages, page 119, when Satan and the Son of God first met in conflict, Christ was the commander of the heavenly hosts, and Satan, the leader of revolt in heaven, was cast out. Now their condition is apparently reversed, and Satan makes the most of his supposed advantage. End of quote. What a contrast! Though Lucifer had once sought to be like the Most High, as it said in Isaiah 14:14, Jesus had emptied himself of the glory of heaven. Here, in one scene, we can see the vast difference between selfishness and selflessness, the vast difference between what holiness is and what sin does. Question. Compare Isaiah chapter 14, verses 12 to 14, with Philippians chapter 2, verses 5 through to 8. What does this tell us about the difference between the character of Jesus and that of Satan? Imagine how angels who had known Jesus in his heavenly glory must have viewed what was taking place as these two foes now stood face to face in a mode of conflict that the two had never experienced between them before. Though we have the advantage of knowing how this turned out, the angels, indeed all of heaven, didn't, and so they must have watched this conflict with rapt and fascinating attention. So to finish the day, Satan exalted himself. Jesus humbled himself, even to the point of death. What can we learn from this powerful contrast, and how can we apply this important truth to ourselves? How should it impact the way we make certain decisions, especially those in which our ego is at stake?